Good evening, this is Business Today. My name is Rona Nahabwe with Winnie Nakauchi on the sign language. It's the 26th of August and it's exactly 9 p.m. Well, to kick it off, President Yoweri Museveni has met with the members of the Education Policy Review Commission and suggested six key areas to be explored for inclusion in the areas that would inform and formulate the new government white paper on the education and sports services in the country. In a meeting that took place at the State House in Entebbe, President Yoweri Museveni further explained that Uganda's education system must incorporate exposure to Africa. Pedson Mumbele has more of the story.
President of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, says that there should be a good interpretation of the new colonial social science through history and political science, while economics should emphasize regional integration to solve the issues of markets for products.
And therefore the need for the change, which includes manufacturing, expanding of the money economy, and expanding of the services sectors, then dealing with the new colonial social science, and finally the attack on the African identity. For me, I think these are the big issues. Of course, you also need, I don't want, I must add a sixth one, don't neglect global exposure. You see, for instance, I heard some people saying, what is the use of studying European history? I heard some of the people commenting.
Museveni emphasized the need to study European history, which some educations have been castigating, adding that Ugandans should learn from and get to know how the European economically transformed.
What is the use of studying European history? We should, very important, study European history. Because when you know about the world, it's like a laboratory. You can trace how a society evolved. Like me, I actually benefit from my big knowledge of European history. So my question is, but my quarrel now with my people is, why don't you copy the good things that happened in Europe and bring them here? Why don't you? Why do you know that England in 1400 was really a pre-capitalist society? Or France?
The Education Policy Review Commission, which commenced work on 7th May 2022, is investigating and inquiring in two issues of policy, planning, funding, implementation and management, among others.
The Education Policy Review Commission commenced work on the 7th of May 2021, but unfortunately the COVID-19 lockdown affected their initial plan for work. Therefore, that explains why they are meeting you for the first time slightly over a year since their work began. As I mentioned to you in my letter, the colonial government had established some 5 commissions of education review in the same period like we have had the Kajubi government white paper, 30 years. Therefore, that is why I think that government must now make room for this commission and allow them to receive the resources to enable them now begin to do the work they have already laid down in their work plan. Today, however, they have not come to you to discuss funding for their work. Their desire to meet you was to have an opportunity to receive your counsel and guidance
of all the commissions that Mama has been talking about and their purpose and what became of them. We have looked at the legal reforms that have ensued in the country, as well as the frameworks. We have looked at the regional, continental, and global perspectives for us to situate our work. Secondly, Your Excellency, we have reviewed the implementation status of the 220 recommendations in the Kajubi, in the white paper, as approved by Cabinet, and we are able to track what has been achieved, what has not been achieved.
The Minister of Education and Sports, Ms. Janet Museveni, apologized to the Commission for the stressful environment under which they have been working because of limited resources. She requested the Minister of Finance to make room for the Education Policy Review Commission in the restricted budget for the financial year 2022 to 2023 to enable them start the consultation meetings to conclude the project by the new set timelines. Bedson Mumberi, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Moving on, the National Unity Platform Town Council mayors have run to the opposition leader, Honorable Mathias Mpuga, over what they call crippling of their work at the local government. They claim the government takes all their tax money collected and they bring back very little, of which cannot sustain their businesses in the town council.
South Sudan was a promised land, the virgin market overflowing with business opportunities and well-paying jobs in the international organizations. And the evidence suggests there is a truth to it. But a surge befell the nation when a civil war broke out from 2013 to 2015, which destroyed several lives and businesses. There has been tension and fear amongst the Ugandan business community. The Minister for East African Affairs, Right Honorable Rebecca Itwala Kadaga, has directed Minister Haruna Kasolo to address the issues of the traders before the cabinet.
Go and see what we can do about raising some funds for you, but I know that we have got my minister here, who I'm now directing. I'm directing you. Support these people through whatever channel you can, because they do many things, and I'm sure that you can find somewhere where they fall. So assist them on that, but also come to cabinet with the other issue, so that we can discuss it formally and conclude it and resolve it.
The Microfinance and Small Enterprises State Minister, Haruna Kasolo, has outlined the major intention of the grant towards the traders.
As government and I, the Minister for Microfinance, we can't just let these traders live like the way we found them. That's why through the Microfinance Support Center, we are granting them with 50 million to start, since we are all aware of the losses they made from the South Sudan. And I'm encouraging them to start saving more and more.
Stephen Asimwe, the Executive Director of Private Sector Foundation Uganda, echoed the role of the entity towards helping out the traders and revamping their business careers.
Honorable Minister, is that we discovered that there are 1 million Ugandans who are trading in South Sudan, even now. Now, these are numbers that are hypothetical. What we've agreed with the government of South Sudan is to formally register people so that they are, number one, traceable, number two, they are reachable, number three, we can find mechanism of supporting them. The fact that you are starting a circle means you are going to come with your name, your national ID, open an account, and we can professionally and technically help you work with the banks and create a sustainable system. And that's what we are suggesting, that going forward, PSFU has offered its offices and its mechanism through our established departments of trade. Because they are our members, we are obliged to find a mechanism of support to give them so that they can recover and get back into their former and even current livelihoods to ensure that they grow their businesses.
South Sudan remains one of Uganda's leading export destinations, despite the challenges of the repeated conflicts. Uganda's leading export to South Sudan include cereals, maize, wheat flour, sugar, vegetable oils, beer, soft drinks, iron, steel, cement, and motor vehicle export. Desire Nambiru, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
We apologize for that small inconvenience. Now, the National Unity Town Council mayors have run to the opposition leader, Honorable Mathias Mpuga, over what they call crippling of their work. Now, they claim that the government takes all their tax money collected and they bring back very little, of which cannot sustain their businesses in the town council. We have the story.
Kalema Ronald has expressed his dissatisfaction with the way government is handling tax collection at the town council level, since the law stipulates that government leaders are in charge of collecting the tax, but the whole process has been taken up by the Uganda Revenue Authority.
And what has brought us here to the Leader of Opposition is to petition the way central government has crippled down local governments. They introduced a policy in 2020-2021 financial year where all the revenues that we collect, that we used to spend at source, they take them to the consolidated fund in the Ministry of Finance. And they had given that they will bring them before so that we can do our work, and for us we keep on collecting and send to them. They only did that for only 2 quarters, and the rest of the quarters they have not done it. So they kept on crippling our work. For example, you collect around 500 millions, then they send about 200. And now the work that you had budgeted for within the 500 millions cannot be completed. And it also brings a delay in the work. If I had planned to grade a road in this quarter and you don't give me that money, it means I'm going to push it in another quarter. But remember, even in another quarter, there are other activities to be done.
The mayors have also indicated it to the Leader of Opposition that they get salary of 380,000 shillings minus taxes, which cannot sustain them in the inflated economy.
This has also increased the rates of corruption within the technicals. Because when they go in the field, they know that when we deposit this money and it goes, our allowances are going to delay. So they begin soliciting money from within the society in a way, and that cripples the work. So that's the reason why we have come here. And you've also had my colleagues have added on, of course, the little pay they give us. But I cannot expect someone who does not even bring what does not belong to him to pay me highly. So we have so many challenges.
That if it is not implemented, we are planning a demonstration which is not going to be peaceful before the end of next month. So we want the government to leave us with our money. We collect the money, we spend it. As we collect it, we want to spend it.
According to the mayors, Uganda Revenue Authority comes up with all sorts of taxes which are not known to the local people, such as rental tax, without even explaining it properly to the people. Hence, the conflict between Uganda Revenue Authority officials and the taxpayers.
We have property tax, which is clearly stipulated on how we should levy it. Then they also come with their rental tax, which they don't even tell us how they should get it. They can only tell you that if a building earns 4 million 6 plus, there we begin levying rental. And we've always been telling them, come, we explain the society. They don't want to. So they only go to look for theirs, and they beat ours. When you go to a shop, for us we give operational license, which is given every year to allow you operate within a town council. For them, they come and levy income tax. Yet income tax is supposed to be levied according how you keep your books of accounts. Now, because they find most of these 1 inches don't keep their books of accounts, they begin levying taxes the way they want.
The Leader of Opposition has promised to present the matter to his cabinet and later on to the Parliament to see how the issues can be harmonized. He also adds that the only solution to this is amending the Constitution because the government no longer follows the Constitution of 1997.
And they are frustrating local governments in collecting local revenue. In fact, indirectly, that even URA is interfering in local revenue collection, where they think that the revenue is easy to collect, then they interfere. Yet it's the local revenue. I believe these are the questions my ministers will have to ask and seek for clarification that you are accordingly supported and guided.
In 1992, Uganda adopted decentralization policy that sought to establish systems of governance underpinned by strong local governments.
Moving on, without hotels, the tourism industry is deemed to collapse. Now, the Ugandan Hotel Owners Association have on several times called and asked government to reduce or scrap the taxes imposed on the industry. Now, the The growth of the hotel industry and the threatening of the survival of several facilities, especially in the countries and up locations. Bronya Katsime has the details of this report.
The hotel industry promotes tourism through the provision of comfortable accommodation facilities in different points of towns, increasing the per capita income and generating revenues. The chairperson, Uganda Hotel Owners Association, Susan Muhwezi, says the multiple taxes are crippling the growth of the hotel and tourism since the two sectors need each other.
Here you are struggling with loans in the bank. Here you are struggling with the 25 taxes and licenses. And on top of that, now comes these systems as you had. Every system, system to system, withholding tax, the appointment of withholding tax agents. So we thought it's important to engage with the Commissioner General. The tourism sector, especially the hospitality sector, was hit hard on the onslaught of the COVID-19 pandemic. But even before then, we were already asking why we have to pay about 18, 20 taxes, 7 licenses. We've been talking to Ministry of Finance and to the Parliamentary Committee to harmonize the taxation on the hotel and tourism sector.
Smart 24 TV reached out to some hotel owners who reacted to the increased taxes. They claim to lose most tourists due to the increase in the prices of services and accommodations. Most hotels have closed from the increasing taxes post-COVID.
The hotel business is a little bit, how can I call it? It's how can I call it? Can I call it a trouble or can I call it what? It's a little bit hard for us because some of the clients, they are challenged with the prices, and these are based on the tourism industry. Actually, they're supposed to come up with a strategy in that the taxes have been supposed to be cut off, in that even the low-income people, they come and enjoy this.
Challenges now we are facing, like as a hotel and we are in business, like the rising commodities. As per now, when you look at the economy, it is at a high rate. So it is really giving us hard time to manage like the staffs, managing the staffs, like retaining them, like paying them on time. It is really giving us hard time.
I don't have them offhand, but I can tell you, like the statistics I gave you, that many hotels were hit hard. Many hotels were hit hard. Many closed, and some have not even opened yet.
Although they play an important part in the country's national domestic products, contributing about 8% of total national income, little analytical research has been done on the hotel industry in the country. Bronya Katsime, Business Today, Smart 24 TV.
Moving on, it has been more than a month since fuel prices in Uganda crossed to 6,000 shillings for diesel and petrol. Now, the government says it has no solutions for the price increment at the pump, even though the spiral is out of reach for motorists on the account of the global dynamics in Eastern Europe. According to OPEC basket price, the fuel prices fluctuate monthly. Now, the question is, why are we not seeing the change at the pump prices? Is this explained? We have details this report. Pump prices in Uganda, which have significantly risen beyond African standards, are expected to fall in the near future given the international prices that are on their way downwards. Oil marketing companies have maintained with frequent fuel price at the pump. Based on research, fuel prices in Kenya are at 4,800 Ugandan shillings. In Rwanda, pump prices reached record high despite the government's subsidies to shield consumers. We also cannot let it slip that the effect of fuel shipping is felt by the government. A 20-feet container contains not more than $3,500 for transportation from Mombasa, Kenya to Kampala in Uganda. However, what we need to know is that at the OPEC basket price, a barrel of crude oil is trading at $104.93 per barrel, lower than the price of Western Texas Intermediate, which is at $94.92 per barrel. So how does the Ugandan market relate with these two global markets? Uganda imports its fuel majorly from Kenya and Tanzania, of which it also imports from these two major markets. So the effect on the prices like Uganda's is definite. Smart 24 TV had a one-on-one with the people most affected by the hiking fuel prices.
naye ate price webesse ate wali tugisanga ekyali waggulu ng'eyo kati nze simanyi ngeri gye tugenda kikolamu.
The situation continues to get worse. If the fuel prices have gone down internationally, why can't it be the same for Uganda? We are hoping the government is considerate, since all of us are trying to recover from the COVID-19.
Osanga omuntu ali mu banka twali twankava mu mbeera embi ya COVID naawe giraba.
If it is international market has been reduced, what about Uganda? Because Uganda we are still high. Rwanda and Kenya we don't know because I have not yet reached there to know the price. But in Uganda, that is the price. And if the government can enter deeply and talk with those fuel suppliers, see how they can reduce reduce the price of the fuel.
The country manager of Rubis says they continue to go by the prices as per the global market.
We are not controlling the international oil prices. There are various factors that affect the oil prices internationally. So now the trend is downward, but again, it can change. Whatever is happening worldwide, I'm sure you are following. Definitely, once the supply increases, definitely we shall continue seeing that trend of oil prices going down further. But in case the production reduces again and the demand becomes higher than the supply, then the curve will have to change again.
One of the most recognizable causes of fluctuation in fuel prices is disruptions in the supply of crude oil in the market. Business Today will be right back after this short commercial break. Please don't go away. Keep it locked on Smart 24 TV. What do you